Hi, and welcome to the Royal Canadian Legion. My name is Brendan Lush, President of Branch 3 and moderator for Meet the Candidates event. Each candidate will be given 5 minutes to introduce themselves, highlight points from their election platform, and anything else they'd like to share. The order of the candidates have been randomly selected, and after the candidates have had their 5 minutes, we will move on to the next part of our event. We will now begin with the councillor speeches. First, we have John Campbell.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Legion tonight. My name is John Campbell, and I'm pleased to introduce myself to you as a candidate for this year's upcoming municipal election. I was born in 1972 to parents Scott and Lois Campbell. I do have 2 sisters, Kerry Campbell and Penny Janes. I am also married to my beautiful wife, Desiree. I graduated from Elwood Regional High School in 1990. And soon after that, I decided to go to Stephenville and pursue a career in architecture, where I graduated with a diploma in computer-aided design. Like most of us Newfoundlanders, we moved away, tried to find our fortune, but that longing to come home kept at me. So I returned home, and in 1998, I began a job at the Deer Lake Regional Airport, where I served as ground support for our local airlines. That job had many interests, and one of them was a union negotiator. So for 18 of my 20 years at the Deer Lake Airport, I was a union negotiator for my co-workers, where I fought for those guys every time at the bargaining table. After 20 years at the Deer Lake Regional Airport, I decided it was time for a change, and I was privileged enough to get hired by the Newfoundland and Labrador English School District, where I currently work as a school bus driver and a building caretaker at Xavier Junior High in Deer Lake. This has probably been one of the best jobs I've ever had, the best co-workers, and obviously I enjoy taking our kids to school on the bus every day. It's probably the best part of my day. I'm also heavily involved in our Civil Air Search and Rescue Association. I am a deputy zone commander. I'm also a certified ground homing specialist. I'm a navigator, a train spotter, and a certified drone pilot. I have also volunteered my time to the Deer Lake Ground Search and Rescue, where I was the coordinator for 4 years. This expanded my volunteer services to the Strawberry Festival, the Winterfest, and the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games, the Food Bank, and many others. Things to me that I find important is to develop a better plan to support our aging population. Our town improvements will continue, such as infrastructure, updating Main Street area. I also believe in continuing the town's beautification is beneficial for our town's growth. I am confident I would make an excellent councillor, as I can offer a fresh perspective and a voice for all citizens. My commitment to the people of Deer Lake is that each concern brought to my attention would be addressed to council, and every person would be treated equally and respectfully. I have many ideas on how to improve our town, and I would love to have your support on September 28th. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Now I'm going to call upon Torena Wiseman. Come forward. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to the Legion for inviting us here tonight. And my name is Torena Wiseman. I've been here as a Town of Deer Lake resident for the last 28 years. Wonderful years. I'm a mother of 2, Sydney, who's 12, and Burke, who's 14. I have a wonderful husband, Glenn, as well. For the last 11 years, I've been employed with Western Health, and most recently at Western Memorial Hospital's Medical Imaging Department. I'm currently vice chairperson of our school council at Xavier Junior High, which gives me an insight into many topics discussed by our families in this town. My goal, I'm committed to you, the residents of the town of Deer Lake, to be your voice as a young mother of 2 children, as an essential health care worker, and a person who truly cares about the future of this town. As councillor, I bring a fresh new voice to the table. I pledge to have our residents' voices heard, their needs brought forth, and I'll work to make sure our town does its part to find solutions. I'll also bring an innovative approach to everything I do, and I won't be afraid to consider unique solutions to old problems. My approach to governance will be the same I take in all that I do, in my work, my family life, my work as shop steward for my local union, my involvement in our school council, which is evidence-based, empathetic, and with true commitment. I'll fight to make our town the best place it can be for every resident, regardless of their situation or needs. While I will approach each challenge with an open mind, I promise that my commitment to those principles will not falter, and that they will always come through in the actions that I take. Deer Lake is growing. It's a wonderful thing. And I will be here to lobby government for funding when we take on new projects, so we as taxpayers will not need to see an increase in our town taxes, as I know this to be important to the residents in my many conversations I've had in the past few weeks. Another major concern I've heard is the loss of the curbside spring cleanup. If I'm voted into council, I will be your voice around the council table to find a solution for all. I'm an effective collaborator, a team player, and always open to new ideas. But I'm grounded, I'm trustworthy, and true to my principles. And I'll be that, whether you vote me as councillor or not. For the people who know me in our town and throughout know this to be true. That means I will always bring an independent voice to the conversation. I won't be swayed by fear of retribution from elites or upper class. And I'll always be honest and forthright with the public, because I know how important that is. Finally, I'm doing this for the right reasons. It's important to me that you believe that. I have no background connections to political parties, personal interests, or community groups, nor am I seeking to enrich myself financially through this position. I'm running for council because I'm truly committed to making life better for all residents of Deer Lake. This is my promise to you. It's your voice, but it's our future. On September 28th, vote Torena Wiseman for council. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I call upon Sonya Collier to come forward.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the Legion for organizing this wonderful event. It's truly an opportunity for us to all connect with our community. My name is Sonya Collier. I grew up in Reedville, and I moved to Deer Lake in 2001 with my 2 children. I attended school here in Deer Lake, as did my children attend the same school in Deer Lake, and so I'm deeply connected in this town. This town has provided me with a place to earn my livelihood and a safe, family-oriented environment to raise my children. After completion of high school, I went on to Fisher Institute of Applied Arts and Technology, and I gained a diploma in office administration. I have some diversified work experience. I've worked in a chartered accountant's office. I spent 20 years working in a municipal water and sewer professional engineering practice here in town. And after that, I transitioned into a job with the local MHA's office. During the time I worked in both these positions, I've gained a lot of valuable experience in municipal water and sewer roads projects all throughout the West Coast. I understand how a project comes to be right from the inception stage at the funding application right on through to completion. I also feel that this would be valuable information to bring to council chambers. During my time as working with the local MHA, I spent a lot of time engaging with our constituents and working with them towards achieving things that were important to them. I've also gained good experience on securing funding, and I have a great knowledge of different intergovernmental departments. Most importantly of all, I'm honest and reliable and hardworking. My vision for this town going forward, as the manager now currently of a personal care home, I deal with health care every single day. I feel like Deer Lake is ideally positioned for a primary health care center, as we are a hub basically for the West Coast. I think that we have a great need for this, and one thing that COVID has shown us is that there are some gaps in our healthcare system. We have gotten very creative on closing these gaps, but there's still much more work left to be done. As a working parent, back when my children were younger, access to early childhood education programs, daycare as such, was a great concern. We have some really good options for daycare here in Deer Lake through some private daycare providers, but oftentimes the number of available spaces can't accommodate all the children and parents that are looking for daycare. I think Deer Lake is ideally situated for an early childhood education program. With the government coming out now with $25 a day daycare, I think this would be an excellent opportunity for parents that are working to be able to take advantage of this. It's been demonstrated that access to early childhood education programs leads to better academic achievements down the road. During my time working as the constituency assistant here in this town, we were able to work on many projects that provided funding for the town. One of the very last things we secured funding on was the annex here in the town of Deer Lake. Through this annex, we're going to see some recreation space for our residents. We're going to see a walking track. We're going to see gymnasium space and a community center space. I believe that these improvements are greatly needed in Deer Lake, and they'll promote, more safety and more healthy living options for our residents. I'd just like to close by saying that the town of Deer Lake has done an excellent job over the last term, and there's still lots more work to do, and I'd like to be a part of that work as we build for our future. Once again, thank you for the invitation, and I really look forward to everyone giving me some consideration when they cast their votes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonya. Call upon Amanda Freake. Come forward. Thanks.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks to Brendan and Megan for doing this evening. My name is Amanda Freake, and I am seeking re-election for the Deer Lake Town Council. Born and raised here, lucky enough to earn a living here and to raise my family here in the same great town. I have been employed with Scotiabank since September of 2001, so I just hit 20 years in the financial industry. I'm a home and financial advisor, very confident with budget planning, and I've been your finance chair for the last several of years. I'm relatively young, married, 2 children. I have aging parents and grandparents. I have a large network in the community, and I love Deer Lake. I have unique skills and experience that enables me to see Deer Lake through a number of different lenses. I've learned at a very young age how to serve people. Most of you have seen me serve you from a milk crate. I could barely see over the glass cooler. I worked really hard in a family business. It was an ice cream store called Papa Joe's. It was a great place to work as a child. My parents taught me probably the most valuable lesson that I've ever learned, and it's never left my soul. If you didn't like a certain kind of ice cream, I always made sure that we found you an ice cream that you liked before you left. That same philosophy shapes how I conduct myself on the council. Let's find a Deer Lake that suits everyone that lives here. This is something that needs to be worked on every day. It is through my volunteer involvement about 10 years ago with groups like the Deer Lake Strawberry Festival and the Deer Lake Chamber of Commerce that I worked hand in hand with the Deer Lake Council. And it was through that I realized I wanted to be a part of the council table. And I wanted to take Deer Lake to the next level. In many aspects of life, and now in my career, I've been the person that people have turned to for assistance, support, and solutions. I have to be honest, this job does not fill your soul every single day. Some months are really long, they're hard, and there's been some lessons that I've learned around the table that makes your heart hurt. But the rewards that I continue to see, the growth that continues to happen in this town, and the happiness of the residents is all worth it. Like the old saying is often expressed about parenting, the days are long, but the years are short. The last 8 years have flown by. During the last 8 years, I've worked really hard around the council table for the people of Deer Lake. I have done my best to accommodate young children, youth, middle-aged folks, families, seniors. I have a personal connection with each of these demographics. I see the good that we've done, and I also see where we're lacking. Thankfully, I can also see the solutions that we can address some of these deficits. I've always been quite visible within the community, and I pride myself on that with the relationships that I've built. I've always lent my hand and to support everything that happens in this community. Whether it's a toy drive, it's festivals, it's the Treehouse Community Garden, it's the fire department, it's the Wednesday soup kitchens, it's the open Deer Lake for our business community, just to name a few. Some projects and initiatives that I've been actively working on, just to name a few, are trail systems, our ATV-friendly routes, the removal of property values for our tax exemptions for low income, open Deer Lake for the community, for the business community, lighting up our Main Street and Nicholsville Bridge, our beach upgrades, the new multi-purpose annex, Swartz's Park, the ongoing discussion around improvements around our healthcare facilities and policing services. You also may notice that the playgrounds, we've seen recent upgrades, and I strive at the table to make Deer Lake the best community to live in on the West Coast, the best community to raise children, the best community to have your grandchildren visit, the best place to retire, and most importantly, the best community on the West Coast to enjoy life. My latest project has been Commerce Street beautification. I want you, as a resident of Deer Lake, to feel like you're home. I want you to feel a sense of community in everything that we do. I also want you to feel safe about every aspect of this town. Every decision that I make around this table affects somebody in this community. I know one of our biggest challenges that we're going to be faced with next is going to be waste. There's a more economical way to do this. We are currently spending over $15,000 plus a month to collect, move, and dispose of your curbside waste, not to mention the lack of our curbside bulk cleanup. I know there's solutions to this. I see things need change, and I can't tell you that they can all be changed in one 4-year term. That's why I'm still here working hard for you and your community. I feel I have my finger on the pulse in Deer Lake. I feel the concerns that you have as a resident. I feel that we have gained so much momentum on my terms on council that I cannot and I will not abandon this progress. I am ready, I'm comfortable, and I am confident in conducting myself in any setting. Whether it be a short conversation with a resident on the walking trail, advocating for any group in this community, or a budget meeting with engineering firms on multi-million-dollar projects. I've learned so much in my 8 years. I want to be your voice, and I want to serve you from the council table again. I humbly ask for your continued support as we move forward together. If you want to learn more about my beliefs and what I can do for you, I want you to connect with me on Saturday morning. We're going to have a pop-up coffee shop on Old Bombay Road. There was no way possible to reach every single one of you at the door during this campaign. So I have partnered with a local coffee roastery, and we are going to chat on Saturday morning on Old Bombay Road across from the police station. Our community makes local, we shop local, and I know you want more of it. So on September the 28th, please elect Freake. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. Now I'll call on Ivan Thomas.
I want to thank the Legion for this opportunity to come and present my views of what I think we need to do to Deer Lake and the reason why the people should vote for me. For anybody that don't know me, I'm Ivan Thomas. I was born in Deer Lake on 2nd Avenue in 1953. We didn't stay there long. My father wanted a farm, so we moved out to Cormac. But my whole desire in life was to be in Deer Lake. When I became a teenager, they almost had to tie me on in Cormac to keep me to stay there. I love Deer Lake. It's one of the best places. I raised my family here. My son works for the town now. So I just want to say, Deer Lake, to me, is the best place in this world. But we have a lot to offer. We've got an airport here. We're next to Grossmorn. We should be promoting that to every province in Canada, that we've got an airport, we've got Grossmorn Park, but also we've got one of the most beautiful lakes anywhere. All we got to do is turn it to a tourist attraction, and people will come. It'll bring more money to our town. It'll create more jobs. And I think that's the things that we got to look at doing. With the population of Deer Lake and surrounding area, we have a shortage of doctors. I've talked to so many seniors since I've been out campaigning, and they're saying, I can't even get a doctor. I go to Cornerbrook, I can't get a doctor. I've got to go to emergency every time I need to see a doctor and get a bit of an emergency because there's not enough of doctors. Why haven't we got more doctors? As you can see, I'm the old guy. I'm the only senior that's running there. And my goal is to be a voice for the senior citizens. I've talked to seniors as I went to the doors. And from the simplest thing, like, I don't know if you know what it's like to get old, but I've seen senior men, 70 and 80 years old, with snow on the ground, trying to drag out one of those big old garbage bins out to the street. I think we should do something to change that for them. What it is something we'd have to sit down as a council and decide to do. There's old ladies there without a husband, got to get that garbage can out in the morning before the garbage truck gets there. We should do something for them. If I'm elected to council, my plan is I want something in council to work with seniors. I want to set up seniors committees, have seniors sit on those committees, bring their concerns to me, and I can bring it to council. As a councillor, I would suggest making it more inviting for business to open in Deer Lake. I'm retired. I have lots of free time to work. on your behalf and will be accessible to listen to your concerns and to respond to you with an answer. Maybe it won't be always the answer that you need or you want to hear, but I will get back to you with an answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Now call upon Melanie Young.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Melanie Young, and I'm also running for Town Council. Like a lot of us up here today, I was also born and raised in Deer Lake. I grew up across the track on Elizabeth Avenue, proud daughter of Lou and Gloria Young. Today, I am a medical doctor with a family practice located here in town. As a doctor, I've always been passionate about the promotion of health and well-being on both an individual and a family-based level. The privilege of sitting on Town Council, if elected, would allow me to expand that focus to include the health and well-being of the community as a whole. My commitment, if elected, is to work to ensure that the people of Deer Lake have the resources available to provide them the greatest opportunity for good health. Currently, one of our largest challenges is access to primary care. Though Medicare is provincially directed, in such underserviced times when nearly 99,000 Newfoundlanders and Labradorians find themselves without a family doctor, I feel that municipalities must play a larger role, more now than ever before, in the recruitment and retention of primary care practitioners, medical professionals, and community-based medical services. To be frank, what we have always done is not working and has left many in this community without access to and continuity of good medical care. So we must pivot. As a doctor, I feel I offer an experienced and valuable perspective that may better position the town of Deer Lake to successfully recruit and retain medical professionals. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of chatter about the hopeful construction of a new medical facility. This is an exciting proposition as we have long outgrown our current clinical setup. However, I've been boots on the ground in the medical world since 2003, and I've learned that a fancy new building without the trained personnel to adequately staff that building is simply that, a fancy new building. Sadly, you only have to look around Western Newfoundland at some of our neighboring communities to see examples of just that. My experience has always been that it's not where one practices medicine that results in retention, it's how we practice medicine that does. This is how we recruit more doctors. This is how we improve the access to care for the people of Deer Lake. But certainly, accessing care is only one piece of the complex pie that is community health and well-being. The promotion of economic growth, improved job opportunity, infrastructure development, the support of small business, an open and collaborative relationship with emergency medical services, the promotion of programs and policy that are socially conscious and that promote inclusion and community connectedness, clean drinking water, sustainable waste management, the promotion of green space and the environmental protection of our lake and our rivers. The good health of this community requires all of these things. So on September 28th, I would appreciate your consideration, and if successful, look forward to working together to shape a healthier tomorrow for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Brett Langdon, come forward, please. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to commend each and every one of you in this room here today and the courage that you guys have shown to put your name forward. I know that the courage it takes here. And I think we have such a diverse group here today because people want to be part of the change that's required in this community and continue on this path that we have seen of great things in this town. I also recognize Gordon Hancock, who unfortunately due to family matters can't be here tonight. And I thank each and every one of you for tuning in virtually here tonight and truly taking a keen interest in municipal politics, which I feel is the grassroots of our democracy. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Brett Langdon. I lived most of my life here in Deer Lake, along with my parents, Jay and Darren. I remember growing up, people would always ask my father, out of all the places you lived, what's your favorite? And he would always respond instantly with Deer Lake. He truly had a love and continues to have a love and passion for this community, and I truly feel that he has instilled that in me. Throughout my younger years, and even now, I continue to be heavily involved with recreation in this community. But as I grow older, I learned that recreation is so much more than just athletics and sports. Recreation is music, recreation is arts, recreation is nature, it's the card groups, it's the dance classes that we put on. We must continue on this path that we have seen in providing these services and ensuring that every member of this community feels welcome, feels engaged, and can comfortably express themselves. At the doors, and just even long before, I've heard access to healthcare is a major issue in this community. We must ensure that we work heavily with our provincial counterparts to provide these services to the residents of Deer Lake and those within. And we must keep up and meet with the demand that's there. Throughout my campaign, I have walked every single street of this community and knocked on almost every single door along the way. And one of the predominant issues that I hear time and time again is people's dissatisfaction with bulk garbage collection and the removal of that. I want to let you know that I'm committed to finding sustainable, feasible manners to our garbage problem in Deer Lake and ensuring that we can see the return of bulk garbage collection in this community. So I just want to remind you that when you go to the polling stations this coming Saturday and next Tuesday, you are voting for more than a person. You are voting for the future of Deer Lake. You are voting for yourself, the future of your family, and the future of your children. So I humbly ask for your support in realizing our potential together and electing a future. Thank you all for coming here tonight, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you, Brett. Now call upon Don Park.
Hi, good evening. It's great to be here tonight. My name is Don Park. Thanks to the Legion for hosting us tonight. When we put our name up on nomination night, we didn't think this was going to happen, so we're grateful for the opportunity. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Don Park. As I went to the door this week, I've answered to Don Park, Don Bingle, Deidre McIntyre, and I will continue going forward to answer to either name. I was born and raised in Deer Lake, Newfoundland. This is my home. My parents, Derek and Debbie Bingle. After receiving my Bachelor's of Business Administration at the University of New Brunswick, I decided with my husband to move home to Deer Lake to raise our family. I have two beautiful children, Drew and Lexi Park. I strongly believe in the importance of community health and recreation, and I think that's evident in how I live my life in both my personal and professional life. Some of you that are watching me know me from my time at Park Fitness. During that time, I also had the opportunity to get to know our community on a much deeper level. The great thing about my business at that time is people tend to go there 2 to 3 times a week, and sometimes up to 5 times a week. So over a period of 8 years, I did get the opportunity to meet and connect with individuals of all levels and from all different demographics in our community. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's actually the #1 thing I've missed since that position was done. In saying that, it was a very natural progression for me to lead into community work. Since returning home to Deer Lake, I've also been heavily involved in community and social development and advocating for those individuals who don't have a voice. As a previous business owner in this town, I understand some of the challenges that current and prospective business owners face, and I look forward to working with each of you individually and help you overcome those struggles. I'm experienced working collaboratively with multiple stakeholders in a diverse group setting. I take value in the voice of every individual in our community. I call community work heart work. It's about seeing the need of a community and working collaboratively with individuals and organizations to meet that need. I can stand here humbly and say I don't know everything about everything, but I do know that there are people in my community that know a lot about the things that I don't. And I am the individual who seeks out those voices. Community work, like I said, is heart work, and my decision to run for municipal council is an extension of that. Seeing a need in the community and putting my name forward, willing to collaborate with individuals in this community to make it better. Currently, I work in collaboration with community organizations, government departments, and private businesses to advance the community sector's capacity for social and economic growth. We have over 400 nonprofit, community, and charity groups in the Western region. Phenomenal people, brilliant people, boots on the ground, working hard for the vulnerable populations in our community. The young people, our seniors, mental health and addictions, and everything in between. As I've been to the doors, I've been excited to hear about the positive contributions that the previous council has had to our town, and I agree. I love looking at the development proposal for Schwartz's Field. I really love what's been done with the beautification committee. There's something peaceful about driving through town and seeing lights. I just love them no matter what color they are. I really appreciate them, and I would like to see an extension because I believe little things bring big change. Through my experience with community work and multiple stakeholders, I also have a strong understanding of sustainable development, public policy, and the interconnections of municipal, provincial, and federal governments. Moving forward, post-COVID, post the Green Report, we do have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of exciting things happening, but there is a lot of opportunities and challenges that we need to face together. Finally, the number one thing I'd like to bring is an open, honest, and transparent government. Most of us stand in every election, federal, provincial, and municipal, and we promise an open, honest, and transparent government. And I'd like to take it a step further, and I want to be an accountable government. I understand the weight and significance of every decision that I make, and I fully understand the weight and significance if I get it wrong. I believe and I want to be held responsible for the decisions that I make. I can't promise that I won't make a mistake, but I can promise that I will own every mistake that I do, and I will learn and grow from it and work with you to make things better in this town. As I stood at your door, I have heard that you are excited about the growth that we are experiencing, and so am I. There's a lot more to come. Right now, I think it's important that we all take a step back, a deep breath. We've all experienced a year that we're probably never going to forget, and hopefully we don't see another one like it. But right now, moving forward, it's very important that we work together. In sustainable development right now, as going through the door, I hear people talking about affordable housing and other people excited about growth. I hear other people standing there and talking about we can't get people to work in our communities. There has to be a balance to our growth. Last night when we met with emergency first responders, I heard you. We need to grow, but we need to have a balanced discussion and grow responsibly. We need all voices at the table in order to achieve that. And if you decide to elect me on Tuesday, I promise that your voice will be heard at the table. I humbly ask that you consider me on Election Day. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Mic issues. Kerry Jones, come forward, please. Maybe we have the budget next year for next year.
Yeah, we can. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Legion for having us here tonight. We were hoping to, I guess, have a conversation with everybody, but due to the COVID, it's the safest way to do it. My opening remarks, I had something, but as we can see tonight, I guess, Brett Langdon, we will see you in the future in politics, I'm sure of it. My name is Kerry Jones. I've been on council now for 16 years. I'm married to Georgina Jones. I have 2 kids that live here in town and work in town. I have 2 great-grandchildren. It involves a lot of time on council, and I will still commit to a lot of time. Before I decided to run for the re-election, I asked my present employer if I could have time off work because it's a lot of time, and she did give me her blessing in saying she will support us any way she can. When I first decided to run for council 16 years ago, I said I would be a strong voice, and I will continue to do so. A good friend of mine and a past councillor always said to me, fix the small problems because the big ones will always take care of themselves. I'm approachable, I'm experienced, I'm honest. We as a council must be transparent, we must work as a team, we need to continue to attract new businesses, we need to continue to promote healthy living, we need to continue to upgrade our infrastructure. We are now, presently, and we need to continue to lobby our government on waste management, as it is not the same throughout Darwin, and we can do better. We need to be fiscally sound. It's easy to spend somebody else's money, but we need to be smart about it. In closing, I'd like to thank all the candidates, and looking at their resumes, I honestly think the town will be in great hands after September 28th, no matter who you vote for. I respectfully ask for your support for another term on council. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. Now call upon Darren Fitzgerald.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Darren Fitzgerald. First off, I'd like to thank the Legion for hosting this tonight. Fellow candidates for putting your names forward. The town is going to be has a good diverse background here to select, and I think we're going to do fine. Like I mentioned, and I guess I should see, Dean, I told you I shouldn't look at this. And I'd like to thank for all you turning on Facebook and watching us here. If you can't tell, I get a little bit nervous. So as I mentioned, I'm Darren Fitzgerald. I wasn't born here, but I was definitely raised here. I'm from the other side of the bridge, not from across the track, but from Goose Arm Road. So I grew up in Nicholsville, and that's where I'm from. I still live there today. I've been on George Aaron Drive for about 17 years. As far as my education goes, I was a civil engineering technologist before I went back to university and became an engineer. Since being an engineer, I've worked with many different organizations with governments, quasi, provincial governments, federal governments. The only thing I haven't worked with is municipal governments. Although I've done a lot of work for municipal governments, just not with municipal government, as a municipal government employee. So I've worked with EDM consultants right here in Deer Lake as a junior municipal engineer first. And after that, I decided to move on to the Western School District, where I became the operations manager engineer for the central region here. I found myself responsible for 15 schools and over 200 employees that included busing, caretaker maintenance, and in my spare time I had to take care of the capital work projects such as the Corner Brook High redevelopment and the Corner Brook Intermediate School development. Finally, I had an opportunity to go back to where I started as a technologist, and I determined to go back to Transportation and Works, where I worked as a senior engineer for many years. I found myself designing and managing many highway projects, and at the same time I was involved with a lot of construction of bridges and construction projects of all natures. Today, I'm a project manager engineer with Parks Canada, where I find myself responsible for all the highways and bridges in Newfoundland. So if you've been to Gross Mourne or Terra Nova in the last 5 years, you've seen what I've been involved with. Through my career, it's safe to say I've project managed at least over $150 million worth of work. I lend advice to contractors, to consultants, and to my colleagues all across Canada. I feel I have a strong understanding of all the planning and design nature that needs to go into any kind of construction project where I figure I can help the most in this election. My knowledge of infrastructure and capital bills led me to run for council. Moreover, I have been an active community member for many years here. I'm involved with just about every minor sport, school sport. Chances are, if you've had a child involved with hockey or soccer or baseball or basketball in the last 20 years, you've seen me somewhere. I've been there. Usually the guy in the background, but I was there as a coach or as an administrator. I was the past president of Deer Lake Minor Hockey for 5 years, and I was an executive member of Deer Lake Minor Soccer and Elsing. So in addition to sports, I've been active with our schools for the Elwood Playground development, and professionally just lending a hand to our secondary institutions as a mentor or just lending a hand when needed. Ultimately, I always just wanted to bring out the best in people, and I figured any which way I could, that's what I would do. I mentioned that I'm a strong volunteer of recreation and healthy living, so that's definitely one of my mandates to keep this continuing throughout as we progress in the future. Municipal infrastructure, as mentioned, I feel I have the strong background and I can pass along that advice to everyone who may need it. And ultimately, community growth is based on residents and business growth. And I do believe putting both together, we'll have a strong establishment, and I think we'll have a stable and business community. In closing, I really have nothing to gain here. I have nothing to gain financially here, I should say. I'm just the average Joe living on a street within our town, and I'm just an active community member just wishing to help out more. Therefore, on the September 28th or Saturday, it's up to you, I kindly request your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Darren. Unfortunately, Gordon wasn't able to be with us for family reasons, but he did send along a message, and that's going to be read out by Megan.
Sorry, I am not able to attend this evening, but I would give anything to be there, as this would mean my father was not sent to the ICU and fighting for his life. This experience has been my hardest to date. When I close my eyes, I see my hero down and me wondering how to respond. When reaching out to others who are struggling, I often wondered the impact I was having. Being on the other side, I can say it is extremely meaningful as it lifts your spirits, and with each one you are able to remain elevated as if they were fuel. I applaud those running for council. Remember that community work can be done whether sitting at the table or not. If you have a desire to have a positive impact on your community, then the possibilities are endless. Community development for me is all about mobilization of the amazing people already sitting in this room and watching live tonight. I was looking at my father's hands tonight and noticed the black, that no amount of scrubbing would get it off, as it is embedded shavings and stains from years of hard work. The nurse said no trouble to tell he worked with his hands. A community is not just concrete, asphalt, and grass. Where we live has meaning, much like my father's hands. Grass is just grass until you place a swing set above it and allow your child to wear it or to dirt it with their feet. Now it has meaning, creates a memory for us. The imprints we make on the community is what make it meaningful. We spend most of our time in our community, so together we must make it the best we can. I know I am hurting right now, and I have more questions than answers, but the community shines bright when a fellow soldier is down. Deer Lake has always been great at supporting its fallen. To the candidates, you are already brave and amazing for your willingness. Do not be nervous tonight as you are sitting with your brothers and sisters. Just be honest and be you. My goal for council is simple: to have a community with fewer strangers, to allow all people to know they are welcome and are equally meaningful. I could go on and on, but I mainly just want to say thank you for the last 4 years, and thank you for the support, as we all need it sometimes. A counselor reached out to me a couple days ago, and I asked him to do something for me, and I would like to ask it again. Tonight, when you each go home, please hug your loved ones a little tighter and a little longer. It's the good stuff. See you soon, Gordon.
Thank you. Before we move into the next part of our event, we're going to take a little 5-minute break just to stretch our legs and get going. Welcome back. The mayoral candidates will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves, highlight their points and, of their election platform, and anything else they'd like to share. This was determined by a coin toss, sorry. And Michael Guzzi will go first.
Good evening, everyone. My name, it's Mike Guzzi. First off, I would like to thank you all for attending tonight's virtual forum. And to the candidates, thank you for stepping up. And to the Legion, thank you. This means a lot. Before I go any further, I would like to take a moment of time here tonight to ask you all to join me in a moment of silence to pay respect to the very souls that have afforded us the right to have a democracy. It is their sacrifice that they gave for us to enjoy the many freedoms we know today in this beautiful town, our beautiful province, and our beautiful country. So I ask you to join me in a moment of silence for our veterans, please. Thank you. The position that I am running for, to become your next mayor, I know my shoulders are going to have to be broader. I know that my skin will have to grow thicker. I know who becomes the bullseye on the dartboard. I know the heavy responsibility that comes with this job. I know there will be unforeseen issues that can arise at any time. But what comforts me most is seeing the great slate of candidates that have come forward, and if elected, I'll have by my side to move our community forward together as a team like many other councils have since 1950. You see, this isn't about me. It's about you, all of you, a community. I'm from up across the tracks. Some of you are from Newtown. Some of you are from Nicholasville. And some of you are from Spillway and Goose Arm and the Avenues and the Trailer Court and the many who have moved here from elsewhere and continuing to move here. We are one community, Deer Lake, and I say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Elected, I hope our team will make you all proud. I have remained steadfast over the past 4 years, consistently reminding council that as a group of 7, it will always be the 5,000 plus town residents outside the 4 town hall walls that we work together for. And to the newly elected council, I wish to say this: it's okay to be diverse in ideas. Debate is healthy. When we always keep front of mind, we will remain united in what matters most, and that is community. And on September 28th, I want you all to remember, your voice matters. You matter. And your vote really matters. I humbly ask for your support to vote for me, Mike Guzzi, as your next mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now,
take a second and say a huge thank you to the Legion and the organization that put this event together tonight. It is these volunteers and many others like them that are the backbone of our community. They are the doers, the people that get things done. Whether it's events like this our fundraisers to help out friends and loved ones, our firefighters, our search and rescue volunteers who work tireless hours in our community to keep our residents safe. It is really our volunteers and the supportive residents of our community that puts this town on the map. I'll tell you now, that's something we have in common. A love and a passion for serving this community. I've proudly dedicated over 3 decades of service to our town as a councillor, as a deputy mayor, and the last 12 years as mayor. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I've had the honor of leading the town through significant growth over the last 12 years, and I've watched small ideas form into incredible places and spaces our residents and our visitors enjoy today. But there's more work to be done. We have started the revitalization of our healthcare system in Deer Lake. We have outgrown our old clinic, and to ensure that healthcare is accessible to everyone, we need to take action on a new space that will accommodate the needs of our growing community. We are moving forward and cannot leave our healthcare facilities to play catch-up. I'm committed to planning for our future so we are prepared for what happens ahead. Planning for our future also means being proactive in how we care for people and taking health and wellness into our own hands by getting out and being active. Deer Lake is truly a 4-season playground. And with the development of Swartz's Park, we'll be able to offer our residents and families lots of opportunity to get outside and enjoy community-centered gathering spaces and recreation amenities. I'm committed to this project and ensuring we have the funding to make this happen, and the plans that you have helped us create into a reality. And again, there's still work to be done on our critical infrastructure, the water and sewer, storm sewer upgrades that we have started across the track, and those are very important to those residents. I want to ensure that they are completed on time and on budget. And I'm dedicated to expanding our sidewalk network and the street maintenance programs. Safe sidewalks, well-maintained roads are important for the safety of our residents and vital to maintaining our infrastructure assets over the long term. Ensuring you're getting value for your tax dollars. It is important to me, and I know my experience will keep us on the right path. I've been out campaigning over the last few weeks. I've had the privilege of chatting with many of our residents at the door. I'm so appreciative of the support and encouragement that I've received, but most importantly, for the valuable feedback you've shared. I've heard quite a bit of returning of the curbside pickup, as you heard earlier this evening, for the return of our annual spring cleanup. We're going to make this happen. I'm committed to finding the right solution to bring back a level of service to our residents. And that's what makes our serving our community as a member of council so awesome. Finding a balance between things that are important to our residents and offering in a fiscally responsible way that we can sustain over a long term. I've worked tirelessly to access funding for our recreation annex, our water filtration system, and system upgrades, and many other projects. These are major costs that our tax base shouldn't have to shoulder alone. We already see how our approach is setting Deer Lake apart in a time when across the province we see so many communities in a decline of population. But in Deer Lake, we are growing. And we are welcoming new families to our communities frequently. I'm excited for these next 4 years. We've seen incredible growth and exciting initiatives taking root here. And I know we can keep the momentum going. I thank you for your trust you've shown me to lead Deer Lake over the last 12 years as your mayor, and on Saturday at the advance poll or on Tuesday on election day. I sincerely appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. We're now going to go into our question period. Question number 1 will be answered by Mike, and then that question will be then answered by Dean. Question is, if you received a $1 million grant for use of our town any way you wanted, what would you do with it and why? Mike?
Sure, that's a great question. $1 million grant, correct?
$1 million grant.
Thank you for that question. There's so many different things. I mean, you sit around the council table over the last 4 years, and there's multiple asks and multiple wants and multiple needs. And, you know, my focus obviously always has been public safety and accessibility. You know, back to Mayor Ball's comment about having, you know, a lot of sidewalks. We've actually got 16 kilometers of sidewalks, and I'm proud to say that it was this sitting council that had the most focus and the most kilometers of sidewalks installed over the last 4 years. So it obviously continue on that, because if you don't have a healthy community, nothing else matters. You can have all the money in the world you choose. You can have all the freedoms. You can have all the good, shiny things. But if you don't have a safe community, you don't have anything that holds the value. You can have all the money in the world. You can't buy time. There's so many different, you know, things I could get up, and it could sound like a platitude, and I could promise this, and I could make a promise on that. But, you know, there'll always be internal struggles in every organization. I mean, I can see where we could spend that to, you know, to shape that a little better. Obviously, there's just so many different things, but my focus always, and like I said, sometimes they're not the shiny things, but it's most importantly is to protect this community so everyone feels safe living here at home. Last night we were at the fire hall, and, you know, their message resonated clear. They provide a service that's top-notch to anywhere I've ever seen. I mean, there's models around them. These are all volunteers. I think there's, you know, it's time that we look at remuneration. I really do. I've worked around the province, and I've seen other fire departments and the time and the effort they put in and the time they take away from their families. And I think they need to be rewarded as well. So I guess on the bigger picture, I would definitely put that $1 million forward to protect our community first. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Dean, come forward and answer the same question. I'll read it again. If you received the $1 million grant for use in the town any way you wanted, what would you use with it, and what would you use it, and why? What would you use it for and why?
Thank you, Brendan. It's a good question. Most of the time with grant money, we use the grant money to try and capture a lot of the low-hanging fruit items that we don't require millions of dollars, but we've had infrastructure needs in the swimming pool. There's right now, for instance, there's a lift needed in our swimming pool to make our more accessible for handicap accessibility. And it's about a $50,000 to $60,000 budget item. The Moby mats on the beach, you've seen us put that there last year. There's infrastructure like that that would make our community more accessible to more people. The expansion of sidewalks, I look at that probably as a bit of more of a capital works program. You know, we would get into the recreation, the meat of our community with recreational activities. What in the Schwartz's Park, for an example, the swing sets, the playgrounds, it's more of an area that we can incorporate funding like that, of that nature. So to lighten that up, you know, I look at playgrounds, the recreational piece of our communities, the long-term or the short-term needs of fire departments, volunteer groups, search and rescues, that we can get some of the assets that's needed that wouldn't be concerned or wouldn't be a capital works project from our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. So, Dean, you will answer this question first, and then Mike will have a chance to answer. This question is, how do you plan to involve residents in decision-making process in our town?
Well, I've committed in my brochure and my talking around this community the last few weeks that we'll have our council chambers open to our live stream council meetings. We've committed that, and within 60 days of this new council, this will happen, maybe a little bit before that, depends on the council of that day. And that would open up every comment that every councillor that I make, or Mike is going to make, or I'm going to make, and every councillor will make. We are open and transparent to our community by a live stream. That's just one angle. And I think we have a pretty good open communication with our residents right now. I haven't heard anything at the door where anybody's upset with us for not being available. We have a great staff. Our phone systems are good. We have any complaint that we get through our town office, we recognize that, we deal with it. So I don't see I see the present council, past council, again, I've been around this table for 31 years. We have been hoping. Our council meetings are public every second Monday night, and I think through a live stream process is even going to make us more accountable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean. Mike, I'll get you to come forward. I'll read the question again. How do you plan to involve residents in decision-making process in our town?
Thank you again, Brendan, for that question. That's a great question. In my flyer, actually, my commitments to you, it says commitment to transparency, community engagement, continuous beautification, adequate potable water supply, regaining our autonomy to waste management, which I'm very glad to hear tonight that a forward-thinking new council will want to tackle. But what sticks out the most to engage communities, I'll enact 4 different community advisory committees for all ages so we can encompass and capture everyone's voice. You know, you sit at these tables and back to Mayor Ball, you know, you go door to door and you hear a lot of things that we're not fortunate to hear. Sometimes staff can't, you know, relay every message to us because obviously, even though we have paid staff and, you know, we have a dedicated council, which I can say that our council has been pretty much a full-time 365 all around the clock, hands down, all of us. And it's not about if I'm the better mayor or Dean's the better mayor or someone's a better chair or someone's not a better chair. The council that you've had did well for this community. I'm a great person, you know, when it comes to being a conduit. I connect with people well. I'm a networker, I'm a researcher, and I don't take no for an answer very easily. So when back to, I guess Mr. Thomas had brought up that he'd like to work for seniors, you know, directly, and you know, it'd be a good suit. So that mindset of trend is starting to come across pretty quick throughout the community and the campaign. And you know, I'll stick to that commitment, and that's something that I've always said when I entered in politics 12 years ago, or a little bit before that actually, but to run myself. I'm not one to make promises unless I know I can come through on them. And the promise I can make to you is that there will be community engagement through community activity. And back to Mayor Ball said, it'll be live streamed. You know, I've watched around the province to see how many people actually tune in. Not a lot do. Sometimes they do when there's something, you know, seems a little bit where it interests the public or maybe some issue comes across. But the reality of it is just having that piece there will make sure that this next council is more transparent to anyone that has questions. And another great thing about it, it may attract future councillor members to see how the process actually works. So thank you for your question. I hope that answers it for you. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, Mike. I'm going to now call Dean to come forward with some closing remarks.
Thank you, Brendan, again. Closing remarks, summing up 31 years in 2 minutes. Wow. I love Deer Lake. Born and bred, never ever left Deer Lake. I've been a volunteer and involved with business and our council for, seems like forever, a lifetime. More than half my life involved with community council. There's a huge sense of pride in this community for me. I grew up here. I've spent a lot of my life in volunteering in different committees around town, from a volunteer ambulance driver to our search and rescue and so on. Over the last, I guess, the last 12 years as mayor, you know, we've tackled a lot of issues throughout our community, from flooding, ice blockages, and now especially this pandemic. And as you are all aware, we've had our share of issues in Deer Lake with this pandemic. And I think your council today can speak loudly and clearly on how we attacked that, and how we came together to bring this community together again, safely. The creation and recreation destinations like Butts Lookout, our beach, you know, is one in 10, one of the best, among the top 10 in Atlantic Canada, the beach we right have here at Butts Lookout. It's an amazing, incredible beach. We have a lot to be proud of in our community. You know, our water quality. We have the best water supply in our province. And we're going to make that even better with a new water filtration system. You know, I can brag about this community all night, but unfortunately we'll have to wrap this up. You know, engaging with residents and ensuring our council meetings are live streamed is just one avenue. This council, last councils, have been always open to the public. We'll continue to work on our storm sewers and infrastructure, our street maintenance programs, our sidewalks, finding more efficient ways and cost ways to offer services, the services that residents want, like such a thing as our spring cleanup. My leadership, I'm dedicated, I'm committed. I know the time and hard work that it takes to do this job. I bring over 31 years of experience. But you are the most important person in this election. Your vote matters. Your vote is powerful. A single vote can make or break an election. And your vote is your voice to decide the direction of our community. I appreciate your trust that you've bestowed in me as your mayor for the last 12 years, and I thank you for your support. And on Saturday at our advance poll, or on Tuesday election day, I'd certainly appreciate your support. Thank you.
I'll call Mike Guzny to come forward with his closing remarks. Thanks.
So in closing, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to everyone here tonight. Again, thank you to my previous colleagues, all the new candidates. I mean, it really does take a lot of courage to step forward, and for me, it's like a medicine. It makes me a better person. But you know, all the councils of the past, all the committees and whatnot, I'd like to throw a thank you out to the town's employees. They're the ones who work the hardest to see our community flourish. The council sits down and makes decisions and allots, funding and whatnot, and salaries and collective agreements and all those great things. But they're the ones that get, out in the elements of what when a lot of us are home. The same as with the fire department. I mean, alluding to someone's, I'm not sure who said it last night, but when you hear a siren at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're sitting home and protected in your community, it's because of these people that, make our community flourish. There's a lot of people who sit at this table that have quite a few connections throughout the province. And I'd like to think, you know, I have a lot of connections too myself, from here to Ottawa actually. And I would like to think that if it's me or Mayor Ball that's elected, that we both be willing to share our connections to see this community flourish, because I think we both equally love this community. And in closing, I'd just like to thank, again, my colleagues, the community for being engaged, whether it was calling me out on a pothole that didn't get repaired or something you didn't like with some type of construction, or, you know, we listened. We're hearing you. A lot of these beautification projects came from listening to people. The Swartz's Park was developed because of community engagement through a survey. You folks chose it. And if we're sitting back at the table again, no matter who it is, I'm sure our community will continue to flourish. But I just want to say hats off and congratulations to all my colleagues over the last 4 years, and thank you for letting me be a part of your team and the hard work you put in to see our community grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. In closing, I'd like to thank everybody who attended this evening, those who were able to be here, as well as the ones that tuned in online. It was an absolute pleasure moderating this event, and those who have not voted yet, be sure to do so. The next advance polls are this coming Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the town office, and Election Day is this coming Tuesday, September 28th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you, and have a good evening.